Hi, this is Tom with Simon Medical. Thanks for joining today. What I want to do today is give you an overview of the Medtronic IPC Integrated Power Console and the M5 Microdebrider. First thing I want to do is kind of show you a little more of the specifics of the M5. We've already covered the M4. The main difference is this unit itself is a little bit smaller in your hands. It's a little bit lighter, and it's also designed to be able to run at a higher RPM. So if you're using lateral skull-based burrs or using burrs to remove spurs or ethmoid cells or bony structures in the sinuses, you're going to get more RPMs. With regard to the two microdebrider blades, the fixed blade and the rotatable blade, the M5, just like the M4, will be able to use both of these. And I'm going to quickly go through and show you the difference so that you understand what the advantages are and the disadvantages. And I'll start with the fixed blade. So if we put a fixed blade in the M5, you'll notice here we've got a locking mechanism which will lock that blade from rotating. If we unlock that, we can rotate that blade. So now you see the blade is actually still, the cutting edge is fixed, but we're rotating the blade itself 360 degrees. That can be helpful, but remember, you're only getting anterior, you're only able to cut anterior when you're working through the nose in the sinuses. If we go to the rotatable blade, and we put this in, and what I like to try to do is have the irrigation board on the side where there's a groove to like pinch down the irrigation line just to keep it out of your way in the field, okay? So now we've got that blade in. It's the same blade. It's like a 40-degree sinus blade, but instead of rotating the blade itself, if you look close up, you'll see only the cutting edge is rotating. So what that allows us to do is cut anterior and then cut posterior. So we're getting 360-degree access within the sinuses. So you're trying to move posterior polyps, going to be much easier to do, or clear an os, you can get a 360 coverage of that. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. But again, in a pinch, either blade will work. Okay, we've already plugged in the M5. There's a few more features on the IPC than there is in the XPS. Okay, if you see, you'll see this little triangle with the 60 degrees. What that'll allow you to do is if you have a blade, in the unit, and you've got your suction hooked up and you've got your irrigation hooked up, you're sitting this is sitting in the sterile field. Well, you've got suction and it's creating a whistle. So if you press this button, it's going to move that blade 60 degrees and close the hole in the microdebrider or open it. That way you're not going to get a whistle, you're not going to have suction in your field pulling things in. So that's what that's for. You can do the same thing with the foot pedal. We can press that foot pedal and it'll move it in increments of 60 degrees. So we can do it here to move it 60 degrees, or we can do it here. The foot pedal will be on the floor, obviously, under the OR bed. So just be aware that's an option when you hear a whistling suction, for lack of a better term. Okay, your preset controls here, it'll default to 5,000, just like the XPS 3000 for oscillate. You can turn it down manually if you want to go slower, or if you're using laryngeal blades where you don't want 5,000 RPMs on the oscillate. If we're going to put in a posterior, anterior skull-based burr, you can turn that up to 30,000 RPM, as I mentioned, which is not available on the M4. So you're going to have like a 12 centimeter interior skull base for those transsphenoidal cases or taking down a sphenoid septum, whatever you need to do anterior skull base. So that's another advantage of the M5. Because this system was designed for both the ENT platforms and the neuro platforms, we have a lot more inputs here. So we can put the neuro drills in here, the EM, the stylus. We can put the Skeeter drill in. We can actually put the endoscrub unit in as well, which is a rigid scope kind of windshield washer system. So there's many, many more inputs in here, and we can address those at a later date in another video. But that's really it for the M5 StraightShot and the IPC. It should give you basic information on how to set up a case and how to make it run successfully. If you have any questions, you need any of these products, please contact us at Simon Medical. And I thank you for watching the video.